Hello everybody, I'm glad you're here today. Today is June 25th, 2024. In this video, I'm bringing you something that I wrote during my worship time in my journal on March 12th, 2022. All right, it's kind of what we're seeing happening now. So I just wanted to it's not long. I don't even think it's all that insightful, although it is just kind of like, hey, if you're wondering, am I really hearing God speak to me? I'm going to say, yeah, sometimes you are. Yeah, sometimes you're not. I mean, I don't know. You've got to discern that with your spirit. All right. I don't mind bringing you what I read, and I'm comfortable with where I'm at saying what it is. You need to glean from it whatever the Holy Spirit leads you to. But I'm going to read that at the end. I'm going to bring you a book that's a survival book that you should have in your library. Most of you probably do. I'm going to give you a tidbit of information I'll just give you this right now. If you're looking for fish antibiotics, and listen, y'all know please read between the lines as I'm speaking this to you. I'm not a veterinarian, nor am I a medical person in any way, shape, or form, but I will tell you this. If you go to, it's been hard to find those because they passed some laws, and wherever you find them, you're getting them under the radar, I guess. I don't really know. I found some, thanks to a viewer. Y'all are like rock stars out there. Aqua antibiotics. AQUA antibiotics. See, they were running out. I mean, they were running low. When I got on there, it just a couple of days ago, I bought what I wanted about a week ago, but I wanted to see how the supplies were before I brought it to the video. So do what you need to with that. Whatever you can find on there, man, get it. Medications are in short supply, and I do not think they're going to get better. In my personal opinion, a couple of things. I think it's going to be harder to get them because of where they are manufactured and what country, the ingredients or whatever. I don't even know how I don't even know how they go together, okay? But however it goes, where we get our medications, they don't like us, all right? And they're maybe putting a squeeze on the supply chain. So I know for a fact, I can say in my personal life, there are some prescription medications we are not getting. There was a time during the pandemic where amoxicillin was not available. I mean, it just wasn't. At least where I was. And that's like the biggest city I'm next to is Lubbock. And I know Lubbock it was hard, if at all you could find any. So do what you need to with that. I paid $40 for about 100 capsules of 500 milligrams for my fish. Right? Okay. So there you go. Do what you want to with that. Now, okay, I'm going to show you this book here in a second. I want to share with you an insight that I had, and I want to know what you think. So I need your opinions here in the comment section, okay? So we can kind of talk about this. I don't know if I'm reading it right. So I want to see what y'all think. First, there are people seeing very odd different things around, and this please don't think this. I like a good conspiracy theory, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not like I don't delve deep into those. But I'm seeing with my own eyes these white vehicles. They're solid white, except like the past and dark windows, nearly like a Suburban, but narrower, no markings on it whatsoever, not a license plate from around where I'm at, Texas. Yeah, I saw two just alike speeding through the town that's on this Highway 60, all right? I was in another town on Highway 60. It is, an interstate. Is that an interstate? I guess so, yeah. They were just going about probably 60 in a 45. Okay, that's how fast they were going, zooming down. And I was like, what is that? I've never seen that before. Are any of y'all seeing that? I know that one viewer commented that, and I think they were in California. Tell me what you're seeing. Okay, and what is that? Or is that anything? Or am I imagining? Maybe I'm imagining, which is totally possible. Okay, so there's that. There is also, my daughter was driving a while ago. She is now a travel nurse or home health care nurse. She's not working at the nursing home anymore. She's home health care. She's driving around the county a lot. She called me and said, "Mom, guess what I just saw?" And I said, "What?" She said, "A convoy of trucks, semi trucks, about 10 of them, all the same." And when she looked on what it was disaster response services. Okay, now before we all get excited about that, I think, and she thinks, they're on their way to Ruidoso, New Mexico, which is not like 4 hours from me. So it makes sense that they were that way. But just seeing something like that, okay, is like one of those pictures you kind of file away. I may see that again, and I kind of need to know what that is and not freak out when I see it. So there is that. That's kind of interesting side story. Another thing, as I was vacuum packing some more flour and taco powder, taco seasoning packages, I was listening to this story. I can't even remember the name of it. Forgive me. It's on YouTube. It's an audio book. It's about an EMP going off. Yeah, I know. I listen to those because they keep me going when I'm prepping. Like, oh my gosh, I better hurry up with this flour. Because that's what helps motivate me sometimes. But the point is, what was my point? The point is that, oh yeah, what I was interesting is the story takes place actually after the pandemic, which is interesting. And the main character was like, I know I'm going to the grocery store and there's going to be panic buying, probably worse than the pandemic, which made me think a new thought, y'all. I think as we approach war, and I don't know if there's going to be a moment in time where everybody freaks, like the bombs go off overseas or whatever, and we react in panic buying. I don't know if that's I don't know. But I do think because it has not been long since we saw and experienced and lived through panic buying and major shortages because of that I think it will be a lot worse this second go round, if in fact there's ever a moment of panic buying. And if you remember that was nationwide, worldwide. All right? So I'm thinking, first of all, I'm thinking I ain't going to get out in that. So they're thinking that. But I'm also thinking people are in the know. They remember what disaster felt like. They remembered what panic felt like. And so I think the response is going to be that. Now, here's what I want your opinion about. Do you think if it was this scenario, or, okay, first thing, if it's a nuclear bomb that goes off, is detonated, doesn't matter, EMP, tactical, mass destruction, I don't care what kind of nuclear, do you think the United States will respond with panic buying? Do you think our citizens will panic buy? Do you think that will happen? Or do you think people will just go, I don't know. My husband thinks there'll be panic buying. That surprised me. Okay, so there's that. Here's another thing, another scenario. If there is any kind of invasion into a NATO country, where right now, in Europe, Ukraine is not part of NATO. If there is any kind of pulling in or attack or involvement of Poland, Finland, Sweden, any of those, do you think that the American public will respond with panic buying? In other words, I guess I'm asking, what scenario do you envision that would trigger panic buying again? Do you agree that it'll be way worse than the pandemic? Because I tell you, that wasn't that long ago, and we remember that it was not fun not being with, like needing stuff and not having it. All right? So that's my question for you right now. Now then, I'm going to, y'all, I don't think I shared this book with you. I can't remember. If I did, then ding, 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 you get round two, all right? So here we go. This is, I just don't think I did. This is the third edition, revised and expanded. Nice thinking expanded. That's, I don't know how big it was in the first place. The Survival Medicine Handbook. All right, the Survival Medicine Handbook. I have already gleaned benefit from having this on my shelf. All right, if you clearly it's thorough. I think it's written by a doctor, and oh, there they are. Yep, there they are. Here they are. Here's who wrote it. All right. All right, and I mean, you can read that. I don't know who these people are. Oh, yeah, they are a doctor, and maybe they're both doctors. Oh, no, she looks like a nurse. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. These people are medical people. They ought to know what the heck they're talking about. So, yeah, this book, it's a great first aid book, reference book, how to stitches. I mean, and then dosages of antibiotics, how to administer them, how long, what milligram for children, for adults. Y'all, it's great. All right, this is, you might want to get one of these. All right, so that's your little tip for the day. Do with that as you will. Now, I also I saw a great Goshen prepper today. I think he posted it yesterday, on different powdered foods to keep on your shelf that don't go bad or very rarely go bad. They were things like powdered milk, country time lemonade, powdered electrolytes, and y'all, whatever. If you want to complain about country time lemonade, that's fine. I've got some, and Tang. I want to taste things that taste good and familiar to me during the apocalypse. All right, so whatever that. Anyway, these are those things he had: powdered eggs, powdered peanut butter, powdered whey protein, I think is what it was. I don't know. I don't do that kind of stuff. Probably should, but I don't. So anyway, you might take in what he has to offer. Powdered tomato paste, tomato sauce was another thing. Y'all, good stuff. When you think in terms of long-term storage, powdered things, soup bases, stuff like that, that's a good route to go eventually. Here's what I did back in the day when I was like, I got nothing, I better get something. I just started with tons of beans, tons of rice, and 5-gallon buckets. And I filled them proper. I watch videos. You'll watch. You don't need me to tell you. Watch videos and package them accordingly. And my children didn't even know where I had them. So I was like, listen, the other day we had a walkthrough. Make sure your other family members know where the stuff is. Because my daughter's like, I had no idea that was back there, Mom. I'm like, how could you not? Where have you been? And she's like, well, I'm not in here. Anyway, so there is that. Those are just some tidbits. Please share with us on your comment section. I am learning one other thing, and I'm not going to give details on this in any, because I don't think the viewer wanted me to, but I got an alarming email about some things happening that were once again way out of the normal. It did involve Homeland Security and the FBI, which is like just in a normal situation. That for me, if I had known that situation, I would have just involved the sheriff or the police. But all of a sudden, no, this situation is involving Homeland Security and the FBI. I cannot go into more detail than that. I'm sorry, but that's not normal. Okay? So what are you seeing? We need to be each other's eyes and ears, okay? Now then, here is what I wrote down, and this is not long, on March 12th, 2022. If you will remember, we were still kind of coming out of the pandemic at that moment, all right? Do y'all remember that? So in fact, so I'll just leave it at that. So here's what I wrote. I asked the Lord, what is coming, Lord? I used to ask that all the time. I don't so much anymore. But the Lord is faithful and kind. Every single time I ask that, He never says, would you shut up? He never does that. Sometimes He's silent, but He's always kind and gracious to me, as He will be with you, because He loves you. He loves you and He loves me. All right, what is coming, Lord? And here is what I wrote down. Grief, child. This next wave that will wash over the world is grief. Death has done its job. Grief will now bear down upon the earth. But look up. Even as your eyes are filled with tears, look up and see me. I spoke to you, winds of change. Now I say unto you, winds of war. Warning, child, this war will have no borders, but will be fought brutally, savagely, for the powers that be are selfish idolaters. And I said, what do I do, Father? And this is what I wrote. Keep the faith, child, and let it grow. No worldly grief or war can rob you of that. Remain in me and I in you. Be at the ready. The unraveling has begun. So that's what I wrote March 12th, 2022 in my journal. Many of you have written similar things. And I looked, and it was February of 2022 that I had written down winds of change. Because I was like, when did I write that down? So I started looking back, and I saw winds of change in February. Just a few weeks later, it was winds of war. And that's where we're at, except it's not winds of war. It's like the war. It's war. It's not coming. It's here. And so another viewer wrote, sometimes, Gina, I just can't do anything but pray. Meaning, I think what they were saying is, I'm so overwhelmed with everything. I got nothing. I can't even get up off the couch. And some days are like that for me. Sometimes you have to swim up to the top of all of this, the news cycle, the warnings, the prepping, all of this, and get up some air. And that's when you just kind of like stop for a little bit. All right, let your mind rest. We actually have that luxury right now. I don't know how much longer we'll have it, and that's okay. Then pray. Then just rest and pray. Nobody's blaming you for that. The Lord's going to take care of us. I will never have enough. I will never have enough preps. I know that. And these aren't what's going to save me. And I don't know what's going to happen. I may come in, somebody may rob me of all this. But the Lord will take care of me. I know this to be true. I've been through worse, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I've been through some bad stuff. And y'all have too. Y'all have too. We have all walked a path of difficulty and trials. And we are thankful for those. The Lord says the trials are what are going to be those fires that we walk through, refine us. All right? So be thankful for the trial. Be obedient. Be willing to step into the fiery furnace. Just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And I don't know if that's how you say their names or not. That's how we always said them. And man, how did they do it? And you know what their attitude was to the king, Nebuchadnezzar? They were like, this is in Daniel. They were like, hey, look, if we die, it's the Lord's will. If we live, it's the Lord's will. Whatever happens, we're good. We're good. So if you haven't read that story in a while, you might take a gander at it because it is inspiring. Are we willing to just live like that? Obedience to the Lord, no matter what, to the death. To the death. Are you? I haven't been tested that much yet. I got to be honest. I don't know. I think so. But even if I don't, the Lord loves me. I'm going to just do the best I can do. And He knows that. So rest in the assurance that you are a child of God and He is holding you very close and He loves you very much, and whatever we face, He will provide perfectly for us. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy, and that doesn't mean it's going to be fun, but y'all, you know, because you've walked it before, and so have I. And when you do, and when you know trains are coming and there ain't no way stopping it, you're fixing going to have to live through this. That's what, when they told, and I don't mean to, I don't want to talk about my problems here or just my experience, because I know many of you have experienced worse. But I mean, when they told me your daughter ain't going to live through the weekend, okay, she was chronically, terminally ill, and she was 11 years old, and they said she ain't going to live through the weekend. I knew the weekend was coming. I was going to have to live through this. How does one do that? By the Lord's grace and mercy and kindness and sustaining power. And then the next day it was time to bury her, and I thought, how am I going to do this? How do I walk to the graveyard, to the grave, from the car to the grave? How do I do that? The Lord put one foot in front of the other. And here I am. I lived through it. The sun came up the next day. And we keep going. And we say, all praise to God. The Lord is in His holy temple. Let all the earth keep silent before Him. If you don't know Jesus, get to know Him now. I'm going to leave that with y'all. Do with it what you want to. I hope that helped. Tell me what, fill me in on the comment section. If you have prayer requests, we're praying. If you have people, family it being called up, let us know. We're lifting them up. We're praying. Whatever you need, let us know. And encouragements. All right. This is Gina Lima Charlie. Stay safe, America. I'm out.